Good morning. Good morning, Rabotai. Welcome to Breakfast in the Class. Breakfast in the Class today is dedicated in loving memory of Mrs. Lily Safra Aleh Shalom Lilun Shpat Leah Bat Chana. Her philanthropy has reached so many throughout the entire world. As well, dedicated in loving memory of her beloved grandma Lilun Nishmat Haya Margaret Bat Baba Margaret Sakai. Haya Margarit Bat Baba Margarit Sakai. From her granddaughter Michelle Golbari. As well, dedicated by Albert and Maggie Setyon in loving memory of their cousin Leslie Cassin Aleh Shalom, Lilu Nishmat Leah Bat Rachel, who got to enjoy Rabbi Farhi's classes on the Pesach trip in the Bahamas. Hazaku Baruch. It was wonderful to see her there every time. As well, the breakfast and class dedicated for the speedy and complete refuah shlema for Moshe ben Mazal Ivet and Moshe ben Gilsom, sponsored anonymously. Finally, the week of Kobru is sponsored by David E. Ash in honor of you and your substantial capacity to do good today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, and every day. Okay, let's get rocking and rolling. My friends, the Torah tells us that Yaakov Avinu prepares in three different ways for his brother Esav. What are the three different ways that Yaakov prepares for Esav? Excellent. Farhi, Tefillah, Milchama, and Doron. Shu Doron, where is he? Right, he prepares with prayer, he prepares with gifts, and he prepares with Milchama, with war. He's ready for all eventualities, come what may with his brother. But what winds up happening in the final analysis of the story? What winds up happening, Sammy? Do you remember? Does he give it? Is it prayer? What carries the day? Is it prayer? Is it Doron? Is it war? What ends up happening? Doron. In the end, he sends him the gift, and he's walking towards his brother, and he's bowing to his brother, and he tells him this, that, until finally he reaches Esav, and the pasuk tells us, Vayinashkeu, and he hugged him and he kissed him, and basically he averts this terrible possibility of war between the brothers. Okay? Al Chachamim saw in this a template that needed to be understood and replicated throughout all of history. In fact, the Gemara tells us that the great Tanaim, when they would prepare for their relationship with Rome, they would go down to the Roman Senate. So at the time, the Romans were ruthless, destroyed the Beit HaMikdash, they murdered millions around the world. They conquered everywhere they went. So before the Chachamim would go to Rome for their meetings with the Roman Senate, what would they do? Or the Caesars, they would review this parasha. They would remind themselves of Yaakov's first interaction with Edom in preparation for the current interaction with Edom. Now, my friends, I don't think that this is only a template for Edom. In fact, I think there's a much wider remit that we're being encouraged to see over here. That in every conflict, there are three different possibilities. One possibility in conflict, when you're at odds with someone, at work, in the family, a friend, a random person, etc. One possibility is the possibility of war. That immediately you decide to go to a fight, you're suing each other in court, you're doing all sorts of things, milchama. The second option, my friends, is doron, where the person looks at this person and says, you know something, it's not worth the fight. Here, why don't you have this fruit basket and accept my apologies? Or here's my settlement offer. Let's not go into craziness here. What do you need in order to feel whole, to walk away from this? Let's not get into it. It's not worth it. You know the crazy things is, everyone always asks, who won the court case? Who won? Did he win the court case? Did he win the court case? I say, you know who won the court case? The lawyers won the court case. That's who won the court case. You lost, and they won. Okay? So at the end of the day, my friends, it's important to understand that oftentimes, with a little gift, with a little doron, a person can escape without having to go down that path. And of course, the final road is tefillah. A person recognizes sometimes that hurting is not going to work, helping is not going to work, you know what? There's no one to rely on except for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But my friends, today's class is really a question of, you know that famous line, what do you get the guy who has everything? Yeah, you know that one? Yigal, this is opportunity for you. You missed your chance. You were talking to Sammy. Opportunity for both of you. Opportunity for both of you. Listen, I'm giving you a shout out. You don't know what to buy for someone that has everything. You call Yigal. He'll get you a nice diamond, right? You need something, right? Chalas, ready, right? What do you get for the woman that has everything? Another diamond. No woman has ever said in the history of women, you know something? I have too much jewelry. Dachilak. Please, don't give it to me. Give it to someone else who needs it more. No one has ever said that. Sammy, you have a guy, doesn't, right? He has everything. He has matching Tumi luggage. He has fantastic Prada shoes. He has everything he could use. What kind of car does he have? He has a brand new Ferrari. What are you going to get that guy? You get him a private jet. Khalas. Well, first, let's start early. So, Sammy, with all your jet set needs, right? You change the name of the company now. What is it? Sutton Aviation. You call him up. You arrange. I'm not saying you buy the jet, but you get a private jet down to. The guy's never done that before. The Hazit, the only thing he's ever had in his life, Hazit, is first class. Bar Minan, lo alenu. Person shouldn't have to suffer in first class, Sammy, right? So there's always something to get.
The only commercial we know is on TV, right?
Yeah, Zaku Baruch. My friends, I just want to say one thing. I don't think, again, Kavod, the honor of Yigal and Sammy bimkomam munach. I don't think the best doron, I don't think the best present you can get someone is a jet, is a private jet or a diamond. It's a nice, very beautiful present. But I think there's something that's much deeper than a diamond or a private jet or a over-the-top gift. Most people, when they buy an over-the-top gift, what are they really saying? They're saying, I'm sorry. But the crazy thing is, a lot of times people, in getting the gift that says, I'm sorry, they forget to say, I'm sorry. Or they're buying it in order to not have to say, I'm sorry. Yeah, sometimes they're buying a gift for their wife, and the gift says, I love you. But they forget to say, I love you. Or they don't want to have to say, I love you. But what does the person need? What would be the biggest gift for that person? It's not the gift. It's what's inside, or what's supposed to be inside of this gift. Yeah? Now, I must say, because again, I think that there's something very powerful here. More than the shor, more than the hamor, more than the seh, more than anything, the eved that Yaakov sent. What was the gift that Esav received? The gift that Esav received was the gift of his brother saying, you're the man. You're the man. It was seeing his brother, who the whole time he was worried, Virav Ya'avod Sa'ir. The guy who I'm supposed to be serving is bowing to me. He's bowing his head to me. That was the ultimate gift for Esav. Now, it's easy for us to always look at these characters in Torah with a negative lens and say, oh, Esav, look at him. That's what he needs. It's all he needs. He needs someone to bow his head to him. My friends, we're no different. Someone hurts your feelings. You want to watch from them? No. You want them to come and say, you know something, I thought about it. You were right. I didn't behave properly. I shouldn't have done that. It was inappropriate. And now, the thing is, it's very hard for us sometimes to do those things. So sometimes we'll do everything that we could possibly do in order to not do the one thing that we really need to do. So let me give you an example of this concept. You know, in Hebrew they say, Mivatrim lo mafsidim. We have someone from Israel here. Harav, איך מתרגמים את זה? מוותרים, לא מפסידים. נו, איך אומרים את זה באנגלית? אתה יודע? באנגלית? כן, לא, אין לך. אוקיי. באנגלית, יגאל, תעזור לנו. מוותרים, you give in, לא מפסידים, you don't lose. You never lose from giving in. Tagid. So the line is mivatrim lo mafsidim. The rabbi is saying it's really not enough. My friends, the rabbi is 100% right. And I want to give you an example of this concept of mivatrim, not lo mafsidim, but marvichim. There was a city called Grodno, and in this city, a big city of Torah, and in this city, the rabbi passed away. His name was Rabbi Rozovsky, and he had 2 children that were tremendous Talmidei Chachamim. One son was Rabbeinu Yeshaya Rozovsky. One was Yeshaya. One of his sons was Rabbi Shmuel Rozovsky. 2 great Geonei Olam. They wrote tremendous Chidushei Torah. They study in the yeshivot to this day the book of Shmuel Rozovsky, Chidushei Rav Shmuel. Okay, my friends, and I need to make this razor sharp, razor clear. Listen to this. The father passed away. The family said, we would like that this oldest son, Rabbi Yeshaya, should take over and become the rabbi. Okay, that's the family's wishes. But the people, many of the people, they preferred the younger brother. They wanted Rav Shmuel to become the rabbi. So you have this war going on now between the family who wants the older brother to take over, Rav Yeshaya, and the people of the city, some of the people in the city that wanted this Rav Shmuel Rozovsky. And things started getting heated, back, forth. What should they do? They decided that the family members that were pushing for the older brother were going to go to a zeborer. They each chose until finally they landed at the doorstep of the rabbi of the time, and they were going to allow him to be the one to decide. And who was it? That was Rav Chaim Ozer. So they go to Rav Chaim Ozer. It's set for 10 o'clock. The rabbi is going to decide. He's going to hear the whole story, and he's going to decide which rabbi is going to take over. 10 o'clock, it's called for. 8 a.m., knock, knock, knock. Rabbi opens the door. Were they early? Right? That happens with Ashkenazim sometimes. Opens the door, 8 a.m. Who's there? Standing outside? Rav Shmuel, the younger brother. Rav Shmuel says, listen, I didn't realize in all the hubbub that it was between me and my brother. People asked me if I would be willing to become the rabbi, but I didn't know that the other choice was my older brother. If the other choice is my older brother, I'm recusing myself, I'm taking myself out of the running, I no longer want the job, I'm not willing to take the job. Rabbi says, okay, Azaku Baruch. 10 a.m., what happens? The court case begins, the rabbi goes over, rules, obviously, on what's in front of him. The rabbi pulled out, he already knows. He rules that the rabbi should become Rabbi Yeshaya, the older brother. He assumes the seat, the throne, of the rabbi of the city. Anyway, days, weeks, months go by, and the noise doesn't die down. The people keep clamoring, we want the young, we want Rav Shmuel, we want Rav Shmuel, we want Rav Shmuel, we want Rav Shmuel. Until this man, Rav Shmuel, realizes to himself that so long as he lives in his hometown, there's always going to be these people that will say, we prefer you. And it's getting in the way of his brother assuming the role and not having his rabbinic leadership contested. So he decides, I'm going to leave town. I'm going to move, because otherwise my brother won't have the opportunity to do the job the right way. But before he decides to move, he has Torah there, he has yeshiva, he's doing everything in this town in Grodno. He decides to himself, come on, it's a big decision. You can't just decide to do it. Maybe it had negative ramifications for your family, for this, for that. He decides he's going to do something called the Goral Hagira. What is that? The Vilna Gaon, there was a thing that they do. They open up a chumash, and the first thing that they see was supposed to be a message. Now, obviously, any random person opens up a chumash, you're not going to effectively be able to do a Goral Hagira. But with the right tefillot, with the right kavanot, with the right intention, with the right zechuyot, etc., etc., a person of great stature could do that, and it's so to speak a siman from Shamayim, from heaven. He takes a chumash, opens it without looking, and what does it open to? The first thing he sees, Lech lecha me'artzecha, umimoladetecha, umibet avicha. Leave. If you needed a sign, no sign more clear than that, right? I'm always worried I'll do Goral Hagra, and I'll get one of those Pesukim that can be either way, like, you know. I close it, open up it again, you know, what are you going to do? All right. He closes the Chumash, Chalas, he's moving to Israel. Now you have to understand, to move to Israel at the time is not like moving to Israel now. You move to Israel now, you get tax-free 10 years, right? You have zichuyot, they help you buy an apartment. You're right, a big olech hadash is a business now. It's fantastic. People doing great things for their financial security with the making aliyah. But back then, you were moving to a place that wasn't built. You were moving to a place where people in the old yishuv, etc., and after that, people were starving. There was no economy that was set up. Everything was very sparse. It was a very difficult life back then. And as well, there was no protection. They were living at the mercy in many ways of the Arabs surrounding them. And as well, we are all familiar with the story of what happens in Yeshivat Chevron in the 20s. They massacred the whole yeshiva by knife. They didn't even have guns. They slaughtered everybody in the yeshiva. It wasn't an easy decision to do, but he has the Goral Hagra. He knows he's being mevater. He's giving up on this honor, on this position. He knows he's giving in to his brother, and he decides to go. As we say, mevatrim lo mafsidim. You give in, you don't lose. He moves to Israel. My friends, the end of the story gives you goosebumps. The end of the story makes your a tingle run up and down your spine, because unfortunately, a few years after he moved to Eretz Israel, the Nazis came into Grodno and they murdered the entire city, including the rabbi's brother of Yeshaya. And Rav Shmuel, who had given in, who did the Goral Hagra, walked away, thought how much he was giving away, didn't realize what he was taking for himself. It's not just lo mafsidim. You come out laughing. You go out on top. And I'll tell you, although they were great Torah scholars, in the yeshivot we studied Rav Shmuel's Torah. We didn't get as much from his brother, probably because they didn't live to be able to provide that legacy. So in the end, my friends, who won? Rav Shmuel was not fighting with his brother. There was no animosity. So most people think mivater means in a machloket. People are fighting, you're angry, screaming, this and that. Okay, you know what? I give up. Now I'm a big guy. He wasn't fighting with him. From the beginning, he says, I'm not involved. My older brother, he's the man. Any kind of vitur is already enough to be able to achieve and to give to a person a tremendous zechut and a tremendous shmirah from things that might come across their radar. So, if a person in their life looks for opportunities not only to win by winning, but to win by losing, then you're living a life of win-win. My friends, sometimes you lose and you walk away, and for free you could have lost and still won. By coming to that position, not in an angry way, but in a way where you're being mivater. And suddenly, even when you lose, you win. What a way to hack the system. What a way to win at life. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.